You made a decision before you were old enough to understand decisions. And that decision has defined everything that has happened to you since you are a koala, and you chose poison, not accidentally, not under duress. You just looked at the available options and selected the one thing that is toxic to almost every other animal on the continent, and decided that was the one, eucalyptus. Specifically eucalyptus, nothing else. Not as a supplement, not occasionally, exclusively forever. But before we get to the diet, we need to talk about the beginning, because the beginning is also complicated. You were born after a gestation period of 35 days, which means you arrived underdeveloped, blind, hairless, about 2 centimeters long, the size of a jelly bean, and you crawled entirely on instinct, with no eyes, no help, no instruction from the birth canal to your mother's pouch, a journey of several inches that took you everything you had. You made it. You got into the pouch, and you stayed there for the next 6 months, growing, developing, becoming something that looked more like what you were supposed to be. And then, at some point, your mother introduced you to your diet by feeding you something called pop, which is a specialized form of her feces containing the gut bacteria. You need to digest eucalyptus without dying. Your entire ability to eat, the only food you will ever eat, came from eating your mother's feces as a starting point. This is how koala nutrition works. This is not optional. This is the process. And now the eucalyptus leaves are toxic to almost everything that tries to eat them. They contain phenolic compounds that damage the liver of most mammals. They contain almost no protein, almost no nutrition, almost no reason to eat them at all. And you eat nothing else. Not because eucalyptus is good, not because it is the only option. Australia has other food, but because at some point in your evolutionary history, your species made a commitment to this specific leaf and has been honoring that commitment every single day since. And because eucalyptus is so difficult to digest and so low in nutrition, your body has to spend almost all of its available energy just processing what you ate, which means you sleep 22 hours a day. Not because you are lazy, not because life is comfortable, but because you are using every unit of energy you have to extract the bare minimum nutrition from a food source that was not designed to be nutritious. You are not resting. You are working the 2 hours you are awake. You eat more eucalyptus, and then you go back to sleep to process it. And this is your life. Every day now, about the brain, your brain has shrunk over millions of years of evolution to fit inside a smooth skull with almost no folds, which means your brain has less surface area than almost any mammal of comparable size. Scientists have noted that your skull is not entirely filled by your brain. There is cerebrospinal fluid in there as well, taking up space that other animals use for additional brain. You have fingerprints identical to human fingerprints, so similar that forensic scientists have occasionally confused them at crime scenes. Your brain and a human brain produce the same fingerprint, which is either fascinating or the most unsettling fact in this entire series, depending on how you feel about eucalyptus and crime scenes. You are awake for 2 hours in every 24. You eat poison for those 2 hours. You sleep for 22 hours to process the poison. You do this every day for up to 20 years. And at the end of it, you will have consumed more eucalyptus than any reasonable assessment of your situation would have predicted. You chose this every single day. You chose it fresh, the same choice, the same leaf, the same 22 hours of sleep, and you are still here, which means either eucalyptus was not as bad an idea as it seemed, or you are just too committed to the bit to stop now.